I was plagued with hearing problems ever since I was young, in my late teens, early 20s. And my occupation in life was as a field sales representative in the pharmaceutical industry. And to be honest with you, if you can't hear orders, it's difficult to take them. I always had tried to stay on top of the very latest technology as hearing aids go. And so I always tried to equip myself with the very best available, but unfortunately it still never really helped me as much as I needed. What was really important to me as a young adult was that I always tried to live a very active lifestyle. Water skiing, swimming, sailing, and there's nothing more embarrassing than having to take your hearing aids out in front of your friends or colleagues, and at the same time to be without the hearing aids while you're in the water and not being able to hear people is very frustrating as well. When I would go to national sales meetings as a sales representative, it was very frustrating to constantly have in the back of my mind the fact that I really wasn't hearing at my best in spite of the technology available at that point with hearing aids. The clarity really always left something to be desired, and I was always concerned that, quite frankly, I'd make a fool out of myself by saying something that was inappropriate for the context of the conversation, something that had perhaps just been covered a minute before and that I had overlooked or not heard correctly. And so the end result was that I tended to clam up when I was at a sales meeting and not say a word. And as a result, I can't tell you really how many opportunities I probably passed up for career advancement because of clamming up as I did. I had always been looking forward to the day that some surgical implantable device would be available on the market. And when I discovered the availability of the Esteem device, there was no question in my mind I wanted to jump on it right away. It was something that I'd literally been waiting for frankly 20 years. And to be honest, I have not been disappointed in any way, shape, or form. It's probably been the most wonderful thing that has been a life-changing experience. It is something that, frankly, I really wish I could have had 20 years ago. I can't help but think that my success in my career as a sales representative in our corporate offices may have been far more successful. I think my relationships with my colleagues, my family would have been far more successful. When you constantly miss verbal and very subtle cues, there's no question that it impairs your ability to communicate. The Envoy device, frankly, gives me far greater clarity, and what's really important to me is that it's in my ear, turned on, 24/7, and I can go and jump off a sailboat if I need to without worrying about forgetting to take my hearing aids off, and at the same time knowing that when I'm in the water that friends and family shouting at me from the boat can hear me. There's nothing quite as fascinating as lying in bed for the very first time that you have the Esteem device activated and hearing all sorts of subtle whispering sounds that you had never heard yourself in the past. From a safety standpoint, I'm very gratified that I'm able to hear emergency vehicles much more readily when I'm driving. Favorite story that I like to tell is based on the fact that as a sales rep, I spent considerable time on the road in an automobile. In past years, I could never hear an emergency vehicle such as an ambulance or a fire truck until they were literally right on top of me, right on my back bumper. Well, the very first time that I encountered an emergency vehicle with the Esteem device, I heard a siren. With my typical reaction, I dove for the shoulder and immediately checked the rearview mirror, but there was actually no emergency vehicle in sight. It finally dawned on me that the vehicle in question was still half a mile or more down a road, around a curve, and completely out of my line of vision. That was really very gratifying to me, and I think really demonstrated the real-world utility of the Esteem device. Quite frankly, the Esteem device has been a life-changing entity for me. Again, something I really wish I could have had 20 years ago. And going forward, I really look forward now to being able to actively live a greater lifestyle involving water sports, and not feeling like I have to take a back seat either socially or in the business world.